Sammy, and this is my reflection for the second week of reading Justice Betrayed. So for the first question, what might this case illuminate about the formation of an Anglo-Spanish and Native American narrative in New Mexico? I think with the Spanish part, they're kind of presented not really so much as minorities, but as part of the cultural charm of New Mexico, especially like the editor of the New Mexican really likes old Santa Fe, and there's like a Spanish high society, which means like in this community, Spanish people seem to be the majority and can represent high places in society. But the kind of like charm kitschiness about it is also catering to white romanticizations of Spanish culture. With the Anglo part, I feel like Anglo actors are mostly writing the narrative, the tricultural narrative, especially the editor of the New Mexican, kind of pitting Spanish and African American groups against one another, writing the narrative that blacks are not wanted in Santa Fe, but Spanish are. So they're kind of deciding who's allowed and who isn't. Native American, I had a hard time with this one. So I guess a really big part of this narrative is that they just kind of don't seem to exist. Though there definitely were and still are Native Americans in New Mexico, they're not a part of the conversation. One thing I did think about was how Cleophas talked about not liking her dark features and her eyes, which to me connects to what I've experienced in Mexican culture, or really a lot of Hispanic culture, kind of only talking about your Spanish heritage and not talking about your Native American heritage. So kind of the colorism within Spanish culture as a whole. Other reflections, I think it's interesting how the Anglo-woven narrative of anti-blackness is reinforced almost most aggressively by Spanish people who are other minorities in the grand scheme of things. So for me, it kind of reinforced how harmful any sort of racial hierarchy is, because it just pits people against each other, even if they could be working together to dismantle the whole thing. In terms of questions, I am starting to wonder if maybe Cleophas did remember what she saw. I didn't know people could actually lose their memories from shock, and the fact that she's so unwilling to testify against Johnston, even though she feels like she saw something different, it makes me think maybe she knows something. So, but I guess I will see you next week.